No joke, this guitar could get you arrested. We're going to be showcasing a pretty remarkable PRS Private stock single cut. Stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas, and you can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag, and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, which I promise does have new episodes coming. I had to record a little jingle that's been recorded. It's coming your way, so make sure you check that out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those other places. But today, it's not about the podcast. It's about this potentially illegal PRS guitar. It's a wonderful private stock single cut, and we don't carry PRS guitars, so sometimes people ask, like, why do y'all only review this stuff? We typically review things that we carry as a dealer because we have access to it. But there are guitar brands that we love and enjoy that we don't carry, and one of them is Paul Reed Smith Guitars. We don't carry it because of dealer restrictions and how many dealers are around us, but we'd love to carry the brand someday. But we got our hands on this secondhand, previously loved, beautiful private stock that has made every single person pretty much stop in their tracks.
Yeah, it's this came in as a trade at our Northside location. I immediately got the call, as you did.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to get over here and see this guitar.
Actually, I had literally just walked in.
Yeah.
And as soon as you guys, what I loved, I'm a huge nerd, and I realize that in moments like that, because y'all just opened the case, and I'm like, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, it was, Chris literally went, so it's private stock? Just started rattling off specs, and I'm like, you haven't even seen it yet. How do you know that?
Because I'm sad that
But,
way.
So you own a PRS.
I do. Yes.
And you're a fan of the brand. I have not, like you, I haven't gotten to really dig into many PRS guitars because we don't carry them.
Yeah.
But I've heard so many good things from you about the brand and about the guitars. And this spoiled me because, of course, the first one I really get the opportunity to play is a private stock like this.
It's a phenomenal brand. I mean, they're all really high end, even when they're low end is a good way of saying it. Much like certain manufacturers, Taylor's a good example of this. Like, the manufacturing is really, really well done. And so it's high quality, even when it's lower priced. And what you get out of the private stock is really not a change in the build quality, but access to customization and to unique and exotic woods, which this thing just kind of has in spades. So, this is a single cut. It is a not the 594. That's a little bit different. This has a wraparound bridge, different controls and whatnot. But it is certainly inspired by Gibson's Les Paul body shape. But PRS did what they do, and they kind of made it their own. So you could get a single cut. Actually, I don't know if they're making the non-594 anymore. They might be, but this is effectively made to the same standard of any single cut. But the uniqueness is some of the choices in wood, which are phenomenal.
If you ever, which I'll pull up the specs, I'll hand it to you in just a second, but if you saw on a spec sheet all the different woods that are on here, I feel like any sane person would be like, let's bring it down a little bit, choose two maybe, but it just works together so well. This is 2015, by the way.
It's a 2015. It was part of a run that they did in 2015. And the first thing that I knew right off the bat, I knew it was a private stock because I knew it was a newer model since it's a single cut, and a 245, and because it has a single piece maple top. So we should probably just lead with that. I've seen some non-private stock PRSs that had single one-piece tops, but they were older. Yeah. So I kind of knew, just you open the case and you're like, wow, that's a beautiful finish.
Yeah.
Which is a glow finish. Which one is it?
This is the Black Cherry Glow.
So Black Cherry Glow on a one-piece quilted maple top, which is just beautiful. Very few companies really pull off quilt the way I think PRS does. Their finishes are really fantastic, and something like this is a multi-stage finish, which really brings out the.
Of course,
the grain.
Since we got this one in, I've been looking at private stocks all over the place, and like every single one that I've seen is a finish that I would never even imagine, but they execute it so well.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of reds. You know, like it's just looks more classic to me. But even the greens and blues and rainbow stuff, it's just it's wild. So one-piece quilt top. The back is really interesting, and I would not have guessed it because, I mean, I've seen plenty of swamp ash bodies on like some tellies and stuff, but never with this much coloration and cool grain, you know.
Well, it's a very nice piece of swamp ash, and you know, ash has been harder to come by. You know, Fender famously a few years ago kind of stopped using it through most of their line. It's come back with some of the vintage models because it's hard to acquire. It's hard to get in really good quality. So this is one of the nicer pieces of ash that I've seen, and ash tends to be.
Sean Connery over here.
Yeah, we were joking. Is it swamp ash, the wood, or is it swamp ash, which is what happens to Sean Connery in the summer? So no, but it's a really beautiful piece, and I like that this is something you typically see on private stock and some high-end luthiers where the cavity covers are done with the same wood.
Piece, which I've heard Ted has been going off because he just wishes that certain guitars that we have with these covers that have wood backs would match them, but they're always plastic or something like that.
It's an extra cost.
Yeah, but it looks great. It's matched really nicely. The neck on this guitar is probably the part that I just like the best because it, you know, you come in contact with the neck as a player, it looks great, but the carve and everything feels amazing. It is Cocobolo on the neck. Yeah,
and you know, I have a thing for Cocobolos in the rosewood family, for rosewood necks, and I was talking to somebody about it. I think it was Blake, who's at our Babcock store, and I were talking about it. I've played a number of rosewood neck guitars. I don't own one, and I want to. And what's weird about it is both mahogany and maple have a tighter grain. So a really kind of nice satin finish mahogany neck or maple neck really you'd think would feel smoother. But there's something about the more open grain aspect of rosewood that I really like the feel of. It's kind of counterintuitive, but I really love it. And then the tuners are also Cocobolo.
Yeah, the pegs are Cocobolo on there, and you got the signature and the private stock and everything on the back of the headstock, which is very cool.
Mr. Paul Smitty signed this for us.
Smitty.
It's got, of course, the because it's a rosewood neck, the serial number and everything are stamped into it. And it is signed here on the back. It's private stock 5829, USA only, which brings us to the front of the neck, which would be the fretboard.
Confessional.
Which is Brazilian. And that is why this is a USA only guitar that could get you arrested. This is a Brazilian rosewood fretboard. It was part of a series that they did. That's why it has that particular number. So in 2015, they did some of these. And you literally can't really leave the country with it. And in fact, a little bit of trivia for you. My PRS guitar is a Santana signature model that I got. And I love it to pieces. Played it yesterday. Just that guitar is awesome. He has a guitar I think his wife had made for him at PRS that's custom and has a Brazilian rosewood neck. And since he cannot leave the country with it, he has an identical duplicate of it with an East Indian rosewood neck.
Wow.
Which I thought was interesting. So yeah, beautiful Brazilian rosewood fretboard. It's got that quilted maple.
The black cherry glow on the headstock. And the inlays.
Yes. So it's got the eagle up on the headstock instead of the PRS signature, which my guitar has too. And then coming down, they are done in red coral.
Red coral.
Beautiful.
Looks sharp. It plays off the finish of the top really nicely. And it's just.
What are they framed in? Mother of pearl?
Yeah, mother of pearl. And moving down.
This brings us back to really the heart of the guitar, which I think you seem a little smitten over.
Yeah, that was because I had not plugged it in until we shot the demo. I've been playing it unplugged. It feels great. It's got, that sort of acoustic quality, playing an electric guitar. It feels good. It just gives you the vibe. But the pickups, first thing I noticed was the, engraving in there that's obviously hand done. But I asked Chris what the pickups were, and of course I just rattled off a couple numbers, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so let me tell you that." Yeah, so he already trolls online learning about guitars all the time. So he of course knew these are 5815 pickups, and you explain it better than anybody. So
Well, I mean, effectively, they are PRS's version of a 1958 Path style pickup, patent applied for that. The pickups that were on the Les Pauls back in '58, and so that's what this is a version of. Now they have various versions of different pickups to do different things. There's low wound versions of it. They have things that are geared more toward kind of like an 80s rock sound. These tend to be their most popular pickups. I think they might be among my favorites because they have that wonderful, Path style tone that everyone's really going after. But what I think oftentimes sets PRS apart from a lot of other manufacturers is that they're constantly kind of tweaking. In fact, Paul Reed Smith might be kind of an annoying person to work with, truth be told, because he seems to never like, let's try this. And there's little things. So let me point out to you. So I've always loved these brushed nickel covers. You've got gold screws. It's a nice contrast. Same thing coming down here to the wraparound bridge. So you've got these brass nuts or screws that are holding it in place. But did you notice if you look right at the string, there's a brass insert too? One of the things I've always said is my favorite sound on a Tele is those brass saddles. How do you have your cake and eat it too? You do a little insert in there in order to get that tone.
It's super cool, and the whole thing is high gloss nitro, no poly over here.
Yeah, and I love the feel of the knobs. It's kind of an in between speed knob, but you've got like these little edges on there, and I love the way. This is my favorite thing about my PRS is they're so smooth. Yeah, it's a wonderful audio taper, so it's not like not there and then suddenly there. It's a very smooth progression, and they're just fast. Yeah. It's got all the hallmarks of a wonderful PRS while being incredibly just good looking. It's a stunning guitar, and it sounds good.
Sounds very good.
So don't take our word for it. Take a listen to it yourself. So there you have it. Beautiful guitar from PRS, and Private Stock's effectively their custom department, and this is a great selection of things to custom make a guitar out of. This is one of those kind of just bet the bank, go hog wild and get the guitar you really want kind of guitars. It's both instrument and artwork. Now, to that point, when it came in, Blake asked me, if you had that guitar, would you gig with it? Yes.
Absolutely.
I absolutely would. Now, that's just me. I know some of you guys would be like, no, that's not leaving my house. And I get that. For me, it's an instrument first. And if I'm going to have something this spectacular, I want to perform with it. That's the whole idea for me. But for someone else, they might just buy it to look at it and play at home, and that's okay too.
Yeah, you could keep this one in the case. You could put it in a glass display case, but while it is a beautiful looking guitar, very striking, the pickups are meant to be played on a really nice amplifier and, contoured with your volume and your tone and really dug into. I did a relatively clean demo on this one because why would you sully it with any... You think I'm going to put a DS1 on this thing? I don't think so. But the neck feel and the pickups, it's a guitar that wants to be played and plugged in and jammed out. So
I wanted to ask you about your demo because I was listening as you played, and I picked up on certain things, and I was wondering if you picked up on them, of how responsive the pickups were.
Yeah.
You play a little lighter and they clean up and you dig in. And that's one of the things I really like about these pickups is, you can have a lot of control with the volume, but you can have a lot of control just with your hands.
Yeah. There's very few guitars that come in with pickups like these that capture that 58, 59 kind of Les Paul sound that well. Usually it's a custom shop 58 or 59 that you have.
Yeah.
So, it's the magic pickup for a reason with all the classic players and all the players now that want to capture that with the reissues or save up $200,000 to go buy a real 58. But if you're able to get a guitar that's this modern and comfortable and cool and has the build quality and consistency, but have that style of pickup in it, it's exactly what you want as a humbucker in a guitar.
Yeah.
It's the gold standard, really. So very fun to play, just keeping it on the same exact settings, but digging in with the volume, digging in with the pick. There's so much dynamic range in these pickups and a guitar like this that it would be a shame to not play it, record with it, just love it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So if you want more information about this guitar, see some of the fantastic photos that we did of it, you go to our website, which is...
alamomusic.com.
And you can check it out there. And by the way, we're featuring this guitar, but we get a lot of pre-owned items in that are outside of the brands that we typically carry. And so make sure that if you're looking for something, you hit us up because we might have something a little out of the ordinary that can be really fantastic. We particularly like one-off stuff like this, and so you never know what you might find at the website, so check often. If you are new to our channel, similar thing. We try to do stuff that's in line with what's going on in the industry and out of offbeat sometimes, and talk about things. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, and we'll see you next time.